guys, welcome back to my channel. So this might be slightly a bad idea to start to film right now. It is almost 9 o'clock at night on 4th of July, so there's going to be a lot of loud bangs in the background. My dogs are going to be barking, neighbors' dogs are barking. It's going to be a slight bit of a shit show, but as you can see, my makeup's already done, so we're not actually going to be doing a makeup tutorial, makeup look, get ready with me today. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. So a lot of the major YouTubers that I watch lately have been doing makeup room cleanouts, like getting rid of things, just cleaning out half of their room. So I've been really inspired to clean out some of my room and get rid of stuff that I do not need. Now, I'm not a big YouTuber, I do not get PR or anything like that, but I have a extreme love for makeup, so I have overbought and just completely crowded my makeup room. I will give you guys a little sneak peek here. It's pretty dirty, but I'll show you guys around a little bit and you can see. So here is my vanity. Now this is after I have cleaned it out. It is still extremely overflowing. I definitely need some more storage space. There's everything I'm getting rid of. I really ran out of room on my palette wall. I had no room for my bronzers and highlighters anymore, so I decided to really sit down and go through everything and pick out my own things that I'm going to be getting rid of. Now, I already separated out of here all the little things and heavily used products and things that I'm giving to my family, so that's not in here. This is strictly the stuff that I'm just gonna get rid of. It's barely used. I'm going to tell you why I'm getting rid of it, why I don't like it, and we're just gonna chit-chat about makeup tonight. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. So let's start with the non-makeup items first. So I've actually been using the same chit hair straightener for the last like 8, maybe 9 years now. And I finally brought a new one. I did the same brand. I did a new chit straightener and I don't like it. So this is first on my list. It is my favorite color, the teal one. Now the reason I'm getting rid of this is because the edges of this really pull my hair. I've only used this a few times and every time I run through the straightener, it literally pulls out pieces of my hair. It hurts. I would rather use my super old one with the chewed up cord and not lose half of my hair in the process of trying to straighten it. So that is first on my list of going bye-bye. Along with that, I'm getting rid of this little charcoal dry shampoo and this heat protective spray also. I didn't like this. This is really oily. I really think this would be best suited for somebody with blonde hair. Blonde hair definitely takes to oils a lot better than brown hair. Brown hair gets too oily. It just looks gross, like I haven't showered ever. Alright, next on the list of not makeup items is these tiny little tripods I'm getting rid of. I don't ever use these. I have a little one that's a lot nicer, so I'm going to keep my good one, get rid of these little ones, as well as these lenses that I used to use for my iPhone when I was filming off of my iPhone. But now I have a nice new camera, so I don't really think I'll be using these much anymore. Now all the lip products that I'm getting rid of is not very many. I really am not a big lip product person. I have a few glosses. I'm really big into lip glosses right now, so some lip colors that I'm getting rid of is this Too Faced one, some lip glosses, and these beauty creations. These came in my Boxy Charms, and I think this is from my Hush video that I did. These are all not opened. I never used them. Won't use them, so they're going bye-bye, as well as these little chapsticks in the kind Passionberry and Strawberry. I probably won't use these either. Primers. I'm getting rid of 2 primers, and that is the Fenty primer. Now, I did get rid of my Fenty foundation quite a while ago. I know a lot of people raved about the Fenty foundation. Rihanna is truly awesome for coming out with that many shade ranges. She really did lay down kind of the bar line for other cosmetic companies for making foundations. But it is really suited best for people with oily or combination skin. I am extremely dry, so the foundation just was very patchy and did not work for me. Therefore, the primer was pretty much the same way. When I use this, even with my favorite foundation, it just separates. It doesn't work well for my skin tone, which is really dry. So 1 pump of this and it's going bye-bye. And the second primer I'm getting rid of is this Becca Velvet Blurring Primer. I did not care for this. I'm actually not even a really big fan of any Becca products, I don't think. A lot of their primers, I just have never really liked them. So this Whole bottle, $38 I think I spent on this, and I did not like it. Okay, foundation. Now foundations, I actually have a pretty big pile, and I'm going to start with my most hated one, and that is this Urban Decay Naked Foundation. Now, I actually don't mind the color. It was good, the coverage good, the wear of this is okay. It's the smell of this foundation that I absolutely cannot stand. I don't know what it is about this foundation, and slightly the concealer too. The concealer, I can suck it up, but this foundation, you might as well go to Home Depot, get a can of beige spray paint and spray it on your face, because that's what this smells like. Just straight spray paint, and my sensitive nose could not handle this, so this is going bye-bye. Next was the Makeup Forever foundation. This was actually recommended to me by my mom. She absolutely raves about it, says she loves it, so I got it to try it, and I hated it. It separated so bad, did not last long at all. I want to say 2, maybe 3 hours after I put this on, it was almost completely gone around my nose and my cheek pore area. It was... Next, for my Hush video, I'm getting rid of this Milani 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. This, I want to say the coverage was okay. I didn't completely love it. It was the color that was a little bit off for me. It's a little bit too cool toned for me, so that's mainly why I'm getting rid of it. But another reason is I just have so many other foundations. I know I will absolutely never reach for this, and I used it once. Somebody else could get a better use out of this than I will. Next is this NYX Total Drops Control. I actually really like this foundation. I have it in 2 other colors. I'm getting rid of this one because it is the shade Caramel, and it is way too dark for me. I actually got this to try to use as a contour cream shade, and it was just way too warm tone for me. I put this on and I had orange cheekbones. This was not the right color for me. And lastly is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I love this foundation. I highly recommend it. It is so good for long wear, sweaty days, hot days. I need this to last all day. I like this foundation. Now, the color for me, this is just too dark for me now. I am such a pale ass this summer, so this color just does not work for me right now. So I am going to pass it along before it goes bad, and I will definitely be repurchasing this in the right color for me. Okay, moving right along, let's jump into how about powders. So I am getting rid of a couple powders here. This one came in one of my monthly boxes. It's just this banana baking powder. I'm getting rid of this just because I'm so fair toned that banana baking powders just do not work for me. They're a little bit too dark. So that's going. Next, I'm getting rid of this J-Cat Luxie Pro powder. Now, I have this in porcelain, and I really like that. It is my absolute favorite powder, honestly, and it's only like $6-7. It's my go-to. I will have it in my makeup stash for absolute ever. This one, the Pearl Luminizer, is really white, but it's actually got like sparkles. They literally have sparkles in here, so you put it under your eyes, and it's like... Holy flashback, Mary. Do not take pictures with this. Do not stand in bright lights with this. It's just, there's too much sparkles in this. I did not care for it. Next is the completely raved about RCMA powder. Now, I decided to jump on the bandwagon and give it a try. Now, I did get it in the original no color. I kind of want to try the translucent one because I just don't like white powders. I'm not a fan of white powders. And with that being said, I am getting rid of Laura Mercier. Now, I love the translucent powder. I have that in my stash. I will keep that. But the white powder one, I am going to be saying goodbye to. I just don't like white powders. It's just, it doesn't look good. It dries me out. It makes me look flaky under my eyes. And it draws way too much attention to the under part of my face in a very negative way. Alright, now I have 3 little pairs of eyelashes in my stash here. 2 pairs that I got for that Hush video that I just don't think I will ever find myself reaching for. I did not like how long the other pair that I got were that I actually wore in that video. I'll link that down in the description below if you're interested in watching that. But these are just too long for my eyes, so I will be passing these along. They're actually really pretty, and I do wish I could wear this thicker pair, but I just feel like it would not look right on me. Now, I'm getting rid of the pair that came in our BoxyCharm as well. I just particularly don't care for eyelashes with thick bands. I like the bandless ones. Because of my trick, I don't have many lashes of my own, so the thick band ones just look very fake and noticeable on me. I like the thin, no band ones. Alright, highlighters. Now, you guys are going to be shocked at this section. So, let's just start off with one little easy. This came in my Ipsy or something. I don't even know. It's like this cushion. Oh, it's not even opened. It's like this cushion highlighter. I just won't ever use it, so I'm going to pass that along. Now, those of you that have been following me for a while or know me personally know that I am a huge Jeffree Star fan. I seriously own like every single one of his products, and that is a big reason why I have like no room in my makeup room. So I sat down, I talked to myself, and I told myself to go through all of his single pan highlighters and decide which ones out of every single one do I want to keep. So I will be passing along 5 highlighters. All the rest I cannot get rid of. So the 5 that I'm getting rid of, 2 of them are the Deep Freeze and Regina George. So this is the blue and the pink pair. Mine are heavily, heavily used, but I used these for a Halloween look last year. I went to a concert with my best friend. We dressed up as mermaids. It was so much fun, so I heavily, heavily used these. But these could be a good look for somebody else for Halloween. Some kids in my family would love to play around with these. Now the 3 more wearable highlighters. One is the Siberian Gold. Now this one is pretty used. I really do love his highlighters, but honestly the King Tut one is probably my favorite if I'm going to go for a gold one. And because I have the gold palette now, I actually love the sarcophagus color that's in there, and that is my go-to. This one I just don't seem to reach for. It's a little bit more on the chunky side. It's not nice, glittery, or glowy. It's really chunky and a slightly too dark for me at the moment, so I just don't ever reach for it anymore. So I will be passing this one along. Now next I'm saying goodbye to the Crystal Ball one. This one is super white. I just personally don't ever reach for super, super white highlighters. I am keeping his ice cold one, so that was my compromise between the two. I like that one a lot better than this one. This one is slightly chunky as well. And lastly, I'm getting rid of the Eclipse. This is the collab that Jeffree started with Manny MUA. I am keeping the Uranus one. It's a really pretty gold one. That one is beautiful. But this Eclipse one is just really disappointing and lackluster, honestly. It was really hyped up, and it just, I can swatch this so hard, and it might show up on my finger, but then I swatch here, and it's just, hello? 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 There's nothing there. This was a very, very sad product. So I'm actually going to go ahead and end this video with eyeshadow palettes that I'm getting rid of. Now this for me was my hardest part. I don't know what it is about eyeshadow palettes. I just love them. That is my one makeup item that I hoard. A new eyeshadow palette comes out and I'm like, gimme, 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 more, 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 more. I want them all, and then I find myself owning 100 palettes, and 50 of them I've never even opened. 10 of them I use normally, and 5 of them are so expensive that I just leave them hanging up there to awe at, you know? Like, I just don't dig in and actually use the palettes I have, so I really went through all my palettes and got rid of the ones I don't like, I don't need, I don't use, and I won't use. So let's start off with Hush palettes. Now, I am getting rid of pretty much all of my Hush palettes because they are dupes, and I have the originals, and I'd like to tell you I don't know why I bought these, but when makeup pops up for a good price, it is really hard to say no, and that is one of my things I am working on. This is actually one of my favorite ones. It's a matte eyeshadow 8 color from Oakland. This is bought off Hush. Now I've only used this one time. It is a dupe for a Lime Crime palette, but it is so much like the mini Huda palettes. I have all of them. It's like the mauve one. So I really don't find myself reaching for this because when I want those colors, I go for those. I have a million other palettes with these colors in it. So I am saying goodbye to this one, even though I'm a little sad. It is really big and bulky, and it's just, it doesn't need to be here anymore. Next is the 2 Boudoir by Beauty Creations palettes. Now, I've never used either of these. They still have the little protective films in here. This is like a cool toned one and a more warm tone. Now, I've had these for a little while now, and I've never even reached for them, so I will be saying goodbye to them. I have these colors in a million other palettes. I do not need them. Next is the Solstice and Supernova palette. I'm getting rid of both of these. I don't think I've ever used these. Nope, I haven't used this one. And, oh, I do think I used this one. I think I used one color out of here, and I swatched a few of these ones, like that blue one. But I actually have the Natasha Denona Sunset and Lila palette that these are dupes for, and they are a million times better. I don't know why I bought these. I never even reached for them or used them, so I'm saying goodbye to them. Next is the Athena palette, the Aphrodite one as well, but I used that in my Hush video, and it is heavily used and kind of ugly now, and I'm giving that away to some kids in my family that really want it. But this is the Athena one. I never used this. I hated the Aphrodite one so much that I absolutely know I will not use this either. And the last Hush palette I'm getting rid of is this Oakland Amazon Clay palette. This is the dupe for the Tarte Pro palette. Now, I own the Tarte Pro palette. That is one of my most used palettes. I use that pretty much daily, so I don't find myself needing to ever reach for the dupe of that palette. Alright, so for some more high-end, let's jump into some Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now, this is the contour kit, light to medium, and the Prism palette. I actually already have both of these. These are doubles, so I don't need two of the same things. So these will be going to a nice new home, and those actually have the boxes, so that's pretty cool. Next is this Self-Made Buxton palette. I really wanted a quick, easy palette to jump into every day right before work. And this really did do the trick for 2 or 3 times, but then I found myself constantly using my Tarte Clay Play palette. Found myself using my Tarte Clay Play palette. That is really hard to say. Instead of this, so I'm getting rid of it. It's pretty bulky too, so it does just take up quite a bit of space. Next is the Urban Decay Naked palette. Now, I have used this once. I've swatched it. I've used these cream color here. This is very cool toned and bluey gray for me. It's the colors. It's not Urban Decay. I really love the Naked Heat palette. Oh my god, I love that palette. But it's just cool tone colors just aren't really what I reach for, and I've had this for such a long time now, and I've never reached for it. And then this Smashbox Full Exposure palette. This palette is really pretty, so that's why I got it. Look at those sparkles. Oh! But I have those in almost every single palette that I own. Literally, those colors are in almost every palette. So, and I've had this for 6, 7, 8 months now, and I've never used it, so I probably won't use it. Okay, this one I actually had a hard time talking myself into getting rid of it. So all of the Too Faced palettes, I have them, I love them. I just like the fact that I have all of the palettes from a brand. I have all the ColourPop palettes, so I really didn't want to part ways with a Too Faced palette because I have them all. But I do not ever use this one. This is the Chocolate Bonbon palette. It is really cute. Look at the little hearts. Oh, but it's really childish. This is really like kids makeup to me. So this is probably going to go to one of the kids in my family. These are really good shadows. Oh, it smells so good too, but I just won't reach for it. Okay guys, bear with me, we only got 4 more. Another BoxyCharm item is this Glam Metals palette by Crown. Now, there goes the film. I never ever used this. I just don't see myself ever reaching for it. They're all shimmers, not one. Oh, the black. The black is a matte. Everything else is a shimmer, so you can't even complete a full look out of this little palette. I don't think I'll use it. Next is this Stila palette. This is so pretty, and I actually, every time I open this, I'm like, oh, keep it, keep it. The palette has been used once. I used it on my best friend, and I did a really pretty purple shimmery eye look on her, but I've never used it myself. I do have these colors in a lot of other palettes. I just don't think I will ever reach for it. It has a really nice mirror. I'm trying to talk myself into keeping it, but I do not need it. Okay, and the last 2 are both from Morphe. Now, I love Morphe. I know a lot of people are probably so sick of YouTubers constantly pushing Morphe products out there, Now, I really do like Morphe. I have a lot of Morphe products and a lot of Morphe palettes. With that being said, I'm getting rid of these because the 39A palette and the Jaclyn Hill palette are pretty much all I should ever need. Now, this one is another one of the ones, this one and the Stila palette, I want to say, are the two that I'm like trying to talk myself into keeping, but I really just don't need. There's so many of the same browns, lots of browns. I have these shimmers and a lot of other palettes. It just is not needed. Somebody else could really get a lot of daily use out of this, while I will just hardly ever reach for it. Now, this is the 3502 palette. This was so raved about, and I freaked out when this came out. I bought this the day it came out. I wanted it so bad, and then I used it once on my best friend on Halloween. We used that red right there, and I've never reached for it since then. I really like it. There's some really pretty colors in here. This orange screams to me every time. But those little day and night palettes that came out has this orange in it, and I have those little palettes. I have these bright oranges and a lot of other colors, the Sunset palette, my Yes Please palette, so I just don't see myself reaching for a palette that has 4 really pretty bright colors and 900 browns that are the same brown. Okay guys, that pretty much completes today's video. That is, for the most part, all the products that I am getting rid of. I've had them stacked up on this table in my makeup room for a while now. I'm really glad I finally sat down and filmed this, because now I can get rid of these, package these all up, mail them off, give them away, and get them out of my room. So thank you very much for sitting with me and letting me rant to you about why I don't need this stuff. So as always, if you had a good time hanging out with me, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so I know you're watching and you like what you see, and hit the subscribe button so you can see my next video coming out really soon, guys. See you later!